Welcome to the TACOS Tuesday podcast, the place for Amazon ads, tactics, and strategies. My name is Hamish Conway, the Managing Director of Sell Global, and joining me on the call today is Sebastian Hargraves, the Head of Advertising at Sell Global. And at Sell Global, we believe that Amazon ads, when executed the right way, they are the key driver to amplifying great brands and products on the Amazon marketplace. And by tuning into the show today, you'll understand the Amazon ads marketing funnel and the 4 ad types and when you should use them at the different stages in this funnel. And also, thank you for listening. And I have one quick favor. If you could follow, subscribe, like, comment, those sort of things, depending on where you're watching, that would be really appreciated. So thanks for that. Now, let's dive right into the show. TACOS Tuesday, Amazon Ad Tactics, episode number 3. And it is actually a Wednesday as we do this, but yesterday was a Tuesday and we launched TACOS Tuesday episode 1, which was exciting to have that happen. And I don't know about you, Seb, but I celebrated literally having tacos for dinner.
So, no, I didn't have tacos, but I'm excited about this series and kind of talking about the learnings that we've had over the past years.
Yeah, that's right. And also, there is a bit of going, hey, well, look, starting is actually easy, and our commitment is that we don't stop this, right? So it's every week. We'll celebrate in a year at episode 52. Okay, that's the deal.
Sounds good.
So there's a whole lot to learn and continue to share. And this is the thing, folks. So like just tuning in. Things move so quickly, right? And things change, and it's different by country. From Australia to America, it's very different. And because we're dealing with hundreds of thousands of dollars a month in ad spend, generating millions in sales, like we learn so much, and we apply from what works in one category to another category, and learn even more and how that works. And so it's pretty exciting to constantly be learning and iterating, and just that learning speed collectively, not just from Seb, but also from the team, is always interesting. But anyway, today, what we're going to share with you is the Amazon marketing funnel. There's 4 key ad types, and we're going to share with you what they are and when you should be using them and why. So, Seb, that's the plan. Now, we will be doing a bit of screen share here, and appreciate that some of you will just be listening to this. If you are just listening, we'll be talking in a way that you can paint a picture in your mind, but also you can go to the gosellglobal.com website under the Knowledge tab, podcasts, episode 3, and you will be able to see the PDF of what we are talking about. Okay, so, and we will also jump onto Amazon and show some examples, but again, we will paint the picture for you. All right, Seb, let's dive right in. So we talk about a marketing funnel and paint the picture of the Amazon marketing funnel, and then we'll dive into some of the details.
Yeah, sure. Imagine a funnel. So where a lot of people enter at the top of the funnel, and then they drop off as they move down into the different stages of the funnel. So on Amazon, the funnel has 4 main components. The first is awareness, where people are sort of brand agnostic. They don't know which brand they want to purchase necessarily. And so they're looking for, a solution to their problem, or a product to their problem. The next stage down from that is consideration. So they're kind of like, they've decided they are going to purchase something, and now they're just figuring out which options are the best options for them. And then they move down to the conversion part, where they actually convert on the product, or the product that they want to purchase. And then finally, there's a loyalty piece. Now, that doesn't apply to all brands, but some brands obviously have a repeat purchasing type component of it. And the loyalty piece is like when you get a customer and keep them, so lifetime value, etc. So they're the 4 sort of main stages. Each of those stages, we have different ad types that fit into all of those. So the main ad types we have are sponsored products, sponsored brands, sponsored display, and then we have, and they're the native ads, like native to Amazon. And then we have ads like DSP, which are off Amazon advertising.
Yeah, so on and off, but that's the difference between sponsored display and DSP, demand side platform, is demand side platform is also putting ads off the Amazon itself. So native being on Amazon.
Yep.
All right, so that's a good picture there. You can picture that funnel. You've got awareness, consideration, conversion, and then loyalty for that repeat business. So what? Let's start with sponsored. Well, at the top of the funnel, what do we start with?
Yeah.
Or where would you start? Yeah, or you take it away from
Yeah,
here.
cool. So the first is awareness. And the first thing to remember is Amazon is um, a search engine at the end of the day. People type in searches into Amazon, trying to find products for to solve their problems. And one thing we know even from the brands that we sell into the US is that a lot of people start their product research when they're looking for a solution on searching on Amazon. It used to be Google was the main way that you search. Now, Amazon's becoming much more as part of that. So the awareness piece is when people are searching for that product to solve that problem that they have. That is what that piece is, and the two and the advertising types that suit that awareness piece are sponsored brands and DSP. Particularly that suit awareness the most. So sponsored products does fall in there a little bit as well, but sponsored brands and DSP are the two types in particular.
Excellent. So I have got the funnel up now, and so people can who are watching on YouTube or Podbean or Spotify can see it now. So we've got, so it does bring this awareness, and even so, when you were let's say someone puts in a search. Just I want to make this clear. So if you put in dog supplements, this is in Australia, and then there's the sponsored brands is the headline ad, right? That comes up, and this is obviously really good for brand awareness, and with video there or several products, and you've got some ad creative you can put there to really help with this whole awareness piece. So that's one example. Then we'll have a look at some more. Okay, then as we move down the funnel, let's talk to sponsored products.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, so as you mentioned, sponsored brand has that kind of banner ad at the top. It's you can communicate through video, through images, more than you can do with some of the other ad types. The next one down from that is sponsored products. So the next listings that you'd see on Amazon would be what we call sponsored products. And generally, they're the really high converting ad types. And most of the brands we work with, it represents 80% of the ad spend for their brand. Now, it depends if they're a single purchase type brand or a CPG type brand where they're selling multiple, they're reselling. So the percentages do vary depending on what kind of brand you have. But in general, they're going to be the highest return on your investment. And the reason for that is they look very similar to an organic placement. It's kind of like when you search on Google and you see all of the ads at the top of Google, you're like, I don't trust any of those. And you go to the first organic one, you kind of skip the ads. With Amazon, because those ads look so much similar to an organic placement, there's a lot of trust with those ads.
And so if you're just listening, you've got the banner, sponsored brands banner ad, and then the next row down will be 5 products across the page. 4 of those will be sponsored, and it's got the little sponsored tag on it. And then the one on the far right will be the first organic one there. So they look very similar, just apart from that sponsored tag. And that's at the top of the search, but also will be in the middle of the search and at the bottom of the search, which we could look at a little bit later.
Yeah, and it looks slightly different on a mobile. So that's on desktop. On mobile, you might have 2 sponsored products. So you'll still have the banner ad at the top on mobile, and then you'll have 2 sponsored ads, and then you'll move into organic placements after that.
Okay. And then let's talk to sponsored display and why you might use that.
Yep. So sponsored display is the next one and is more in the conversion and loyalty. It does have components of it that do go into awareness as well. You can target people that are like in market or have recently been engaged or married or things like that are a little bit more. You're anticipating that they're going to be doing something next based on an event, like getting married or something like that. And so, sponsored display has a bit of components of both, but the main drivers of sponsored display and where we see the biggest returns are when you use it to remarket to customers that have already purchased your product. And so we use it mostly as a conversion and loyalty play in the funnel, where we use it to basically target customers that have purchased before, and we can use really custom timeframes. For example, you might have a supplement that you need to take once a day for 30 days, and you've got 30 capsules. So after 30 days, they're likely to need to refill. And so we can base our targeting timeframes on when we think those customers will be looking again for that type of product.
That's right. Another really good example of that is with children, whether it's formula as they graduate from being 0 to 6 months or 6 months to 12 months and next level, and even like children, again, nappies as they go to different sizes as well. You can get really smart with the retargeting and around that. Okay, so that's sponsored display, and in terms of where that sits on the platform, it is on the the search. You might have it on the on the left hand side, which actually, as it turns out, this we don't have that there at the moment. But inside of a listing, you'll see a thin banner along the top. That could be sponsored display or sponsored or DSP. There is also below the buy box and below the bullet points there. These can be display or DSP, and then also within the listing a little bit lower down. Sometimes also at the very bottom of page 1 on the search results, as you get below the last sponsored brand, there's some other brand related search there, which is sponsored brand, and then you'll see some turning up elsewhere often. Anyway, let's talk about DSP and how that is different to sponsored display.
Yeah, so DSP is basically like sponsored display on steroids. So it has far more control, far more ability to filter. What kind of ads, how often you serve them to, what kind of audience you serve them to, and things like that. You can get just much more granular in regards to the type of audience that you're going after. It's very much an audience-based targeting. So you are basing it on the types of people that you want to target. It has kind of two main components, I would say. I mean, there's more to it than this, but it's kind of got in-market and lifestyle, which is in the screenshot here. So that's obviously people that have showed certain type of browsing habits that tell us that they are in market or they're into a particular lifestyle, whether that's into cycling or whatever that is. And then that's more awareness and consideration, right? They're not maybe ready to purchase yet, but their browsing history kind of indicates they're getting close to being ready. And then the consideration and loyalty piece is the DSP retargeting, very similar to the sponsored display, but your ads can follow them off Amazon as well. So they may have purchased a supplement from you or some kind of brand product that's a repeat purchase, and your DSP ad can follow them onto, say, a blog. They might be reading about something that they enjoy that's related to your product, and you can serve that ad to them, on the blog, etc., while they're reading that thing, and basically prompt them to be like, oh yeah, that's right, I need to get my refill.
Right. So they could be into cooking. They're on a cooking blog, and then a product related to cooking could be showing up, or like an ingredient or refill there would be an example, or whatever the topic is. And even on weather sites or news sites, they can also be there as well. So that's the big difference. And I guess the important to note that the demand side platform side of things it's not for every brand, and it does have a lower ROI because it is really above the line to a degree, and top of the funnel, and by nature it isn't, well, the return isn't as strong. Amazon does have what is called AMC, or Amazon Marketing Cloud, which is actually helping with the first click and last click attribution challenge and looking at the actual journey. So that is something that we'll discuss in another episode. But let's come back to your comment before with sponsored products. And saying 80 to 90% of a company's spend will be on sponsored products. Like, why is that? And explain.
Yeah. So sponsored product, the main reason is because it gives you the best return on your investment. So the other piece that that is unique to Amazon, that's different from say Facebook ads or Google ads, is that Amazon has an organic listing that's part of your product page. So basically, when you're advertising, you can have, say, for example, on the dog vitamins, you can have a dog vitamin that's an ad that's the same product that's showing as a organic listing as well. So people can see the product twice on the same search result. So they search dog vitamin, they might see the ad first, and then they keep scrolling down the page, and then they see the organic listing next. And the reason that's important is for two reasons. One, obviously, we know that the more people that see your brand, like the more often they see your brand, that creates trust. So there's a little bit of a like overflow effect onto the trust factor. But also the other piece, and this is the main one, is that advertising can help boost what we call your organic rank, which is basically that organic piece can get higher up on the page because Amazon rewards products that have high conversion rates and that sell quickly because they want the customer to have a really good experience. And the way that they factor in whether the customer's having a good experience is, are they buying it a lot, and is it converting well? And there's a bunch of other factors, but that's like the main reason: is it selling through quickly, and is it converting highly? And so it's like once they see that happening, they're willing to obviously to push or to increase your organic rank. And the reason that's important is your organic rank, when you get sales on your organic listing, they're free. So those sales don't cost you anything, and that boosts the overall performance of the account. Rather than just focusing on, what's the return on my ad, you start to have an overall impact on the account from those. So that's why we suggest and we tell brands to spend most of their money on sponsored products. And again, like I said before, it does depend on the brand. Some brands, it may make sense to have more invested in sponsored display where you can target and retarget them. And that's going to be your CPG, type brands.
Okay. So sponsored products, that's the engine room that's going to drive the biggest return. And whether, and so you're choosing the search terms that you want to show for, whether that's branded, that if you're a known brand, which hopefully most of you listening will be. If people type in any search term that has your brand in it, you'll be showing up for that. Or category search terms, which would be like the dog supplement, for example.
Yep.
Then this is where you want to build those organic sales. So really targeting those category search terms is where you can win and grow the organic. And this is a big difference with Amazon ads versus Google or any Meta ads as well, is this factor of building the organic. Okay. Now, what about, so the difference here with sponsored brands is, you see, if I click on this here, this goes to a storefront. So why might we want to be doing this?
Yeah, so storefronts are basically Amazon's way of creating a D2C website on Amazon. So it's kind of like their way of kind of replicating that experience that a customer has. And there's a lot of investment from Amazon here, and we've seen in the US they're really making this experience quite good for the customer. So sending them to a store is good for a bunch of reasons. The main one is there's no ads from your competitors that are allowed to be served on your store. So once you get a customer to your store, the likelihood of them purchasing, assuming you have a good store, obviously if you have a bad store, they're going to bounce off. The same as a D2C. But if you get them to your store, they're only going to be looking at options from you and not from your competitors. So that's the main reason. The other reason is just because sponsored brands has a unique layout that's unique to it and not any of the other ad types that are available. And so you can use it to, for example, if you have a lot of products and a bunch of stores, you can't, and you might not have the budget to advertise all of your products. You can use a headline ad or a banner ad to showcase your different store pages. So, for example, you might have, let's say you have dog vitamins, but you also have dog bowls, and you also have dog drink bottles. I don't know if that's a thing, but if that is a thing, you say you have those 3 different pages, but let's say you have a whole bunch of SKUs inside of each of those pages. You could use a sponsored brand headline or banner ad to then showcase those 3 and let the person, the customer, then browse through those different stores to purchase.
Yeah. And look, in Australia, there's still not many brands using this, and so it's actually, in terms of effectiveness and even ROI, this can be a great opportunity to build a lot of brand awareness. So you only pay when people click. So that this here just brings a lot of brand awareness. And again, the competition-free zone in the store here, which is great for larger catalogs, and it's a competition-free zone is what we're after there. Very good. All right. So in terms of sponsored display for the typical company, how do we want to use this here? Obviously, we've talked about it from a repurchasing, but where's that going to show up, and how do we want that to how are we going to control that?
Yeah, so sponsored display will follow you around. So depending on what type of ad you've set up. So we have things like views, remarketing, where if someone views your product page, we can say, I want to serve another ad to them. So basically what that will do is it'll follow you around, similar to like what Facebook ads and that do, where they follow you around a little bit around the internet. It will follow you around on Amazon. So let's say you're doing other searches after that, the ad will kind of follow you a bit. When you log out and come back in, or not log out, but if, like, let's say you close your browser and come back on your phone or on your laptop, it will then show you the ad again because it's like you viewed it yesterday, or, as an example. So it follows you around on Amazon. It follows you around on the product pages, like you can see here. Like Hamish pointed out before, at the bottom of competitors' bullets and below the buy box as well.
Yeah, good. Okay. All right. So that there is the Amazon marketing funnel. We've got awareness up the top, consideration, conversion, and then loyalty, with sponsored brands being up the top to build that awareness, along with DSP. We've got sponsored products, which is really the engine room where 80 to 90% of the investment will be, because it brings the biggest return, and sponsored display from a retargeting point of view. And actually, in the DSP side of things, really, you need to be investing at least $10,000 a month in Australia to have that be worthwhile. And there's usually so much opportunity still within sponsored products, sponsored brands, and sponsored display before moving through to DSP. In the US, it's a different story. Often, sponsored products is very difficult to compete. There's some click costs are crazy high in competitive categories like dog supplements. That would be a very, very pricey click. So yeah, markets really dictate what your strategy will be. But hopefully that there has helped you understand the 4 main types and when you would use them. So Seb, is there anything else there to summarize or wrap up?
No, I think just there's a lot going on in the Amazon advertising space, and it's a lot to keep up with. Things that I learned 5 years ago are not relevant now because the space updates so quickly. So if you guys have any questions or anything, please let us know, because I think that it's not as straightforward as it once was.
And that's one of the things we do help brands with, is we do an Amazon Ads Spotlight audit, where we do have a look at the balance of ad types that you're using, the structure of the ads, and particularly around sponsored products, is the category search and brand search is the right balance there, and much more than that. So if you'd like to learn more about that, go to gosellglobal.com and book a call. That would be great. Okay, Seb. Well, that's we'll call that a wrap, and look forward to episode number 4 coming up as we keep the momentum going. So thanks very much, Seb. Appreciate it.